Sheth.
We are ready to GLHF up.
Yep. Here's hoping that we don't have any more problems. I really, really hope so. Yeah, we are starting. Sheth is no doubt ready. There's no real question about that one. And here we go. The first matchup will be on Metalopolis in this best of 5 series. Are we ready for some StarCraft action?
I'm pretty ready.
Cool.
And everybody else is ready, and Chef is ready, Socke is ready, or Socke is ready, so let's do this!
Yes, indeed. In the blue trunks, ladies and gentlemen, representing his team, it is...
Ultimate Attack Socke!
He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the north versus his opponent right here. Oh, yes. Now teamless. Indeed, he is not part of FXO anymore. He is single. He is indeed a free agent. It is.
Master Chef.
He's in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the south.
And we'll have to see how these both players do open up. I suppose Socke or Socke will be playing very safe, getting up a nice expansion, probably going for some form of 3-gate expand. And we'll have to see how Sheth plays, and will he be going for a nice early spawning pool around 13-14 to deny any probe harassment, deny any form of early aggression, followed by a hatchery thrown down on this map. And as we already can see, that this could prove to be a dramatic game. Both players spawning cross-map, all their expansions will be moving away from each other, which is going to be awesome.
Yep, that could mean a nice long macro game. Both of these players are more than capable of doing that, I have to point out. Sheth could potentially try for an expansion, but it's not going to happen right now. Socke has found him immediately, and there's a spawning pool coming down for him as a direct response to that. Sheth is a big macro player when it comes to Zerg, but the thing is, Socke he can cope with really long matches. We've seen some amazing lengthy macro games where the entire map has been mined out from him, and he just keeps his composure the entire time.
Exactly. I mean, Sheth is exactly like you described, a very macro-orientated Zerg. But like I said, if he does smell weakness, he will go for it. And we are going to go ahead. He's going to try and expand shortly now. The probe is blocking the way, though. And he might have to bring a second probe or even wait till the spawning pool finishes. Socke doing a good job here.
Yeah, we appear to have some lag problems. I don't know what it is with BattleNet today. We're having all sorts of issues with it. And needless to say, we will be swapping over servers after this match. So I'm hoping it's just a regional thing. We'll find out one way or the other.
Yeah, I can see it's taken effect with him as well, because he, as soon as the spawning pool finished, he didn't build a queen and lings immediately. There was a second delay or something. But he seems happy and content with everything. Has got the extractor down on 18, ready to get that speed upgrade soon, as he doesn't want to really face against stalkers very early on. And another deny on there.
Nicely blocked off right there by Socke, and there it goes. So that delayed him quite a little bit.
Indeed he did. And we have Socke looking at his base now. He's gone for the assimilator after the zealot, getting the zealot out first, so he's able to block that ramp and so on nice and early. Probe will be finally chased down and killed in the center of the map. Already we have Sheth getting into position with overlords, one behind the base of Socke, and the other one is going to be placed to the left of his natural. We'll be able to scout a lot of simple timings, around the 6-minute mark to see what is going on and how to identify what is going on.
Yep, we'll find out what he decides to do very, very shortly. And there we go, Zerglings down to the bottom right there. They'll be able to block off any kind of expansion early on for the time being. And, of course, spot expansion timing. He'll gain full map control as a direct result of having these, which is standard for any Zerg at this stage of the game. It's going to be a sentry coming out right here to prevent any kind of early aggression for Socke. And this could also mean he's gearing up for an expansion. He does have a lot of minerals coming in right now. There's the pylon down to the bottom, so it's almost certainly going to be an expansion quite shortly.
Oh, yeah, he's going to go 1-gate expo here, and when I say that 1 gateway into an expansion to get that nexus up shortly after, will follow with 2 additional gateways with that pylon, and surprisingly has got the pylon at the front. We've seen a lot of people putting the pylon towards the back now and then walling with the 2 gateways rather than having a pylon at the front, which is a little bit dangerous if it gets sniped off early and so on. And we see Chef already smelling this and getting 10 lings out, ready to go and pressure this expansion.
Yep, very smart play. That's actually going to be 12. This is really going to be a very heavy attack right here from Sheth. And he can do it. And he has done this on more than one occasion, particularly against Protoss opponents. We saw him doing it against Sarcey with great effect. The metabolic boost is on its way. This could be quite a nice timing, actually. It looks like he's going to reach his opponent's base around the time that the metabolic boost completes, and is indeed perhaps taking the long way round as a direct result of that.
Well, he is scouting around to make sure there are no hidden pylons. This is no 4-gate. He's only seen the Stalker. If you think about what Chef has seen, he has no idea what's going on And this probe is going to get great information, seeing all these Zerglings straight away. And now Socke has a good chance to move around and get in position ready for this.
Yeah, he's got a couple of seconds. The Zergling speed has completed right here. There are a few sentries. It's a nice little wall-off. Pretty standard positioning right now, honestly, for the Protoss. This is really common on Metalopolis that we're seeing this partial wall-off at the bottom of the ramp. And the question is, will these Zerglings be able to get in here and do any damage? It's looking unlikely with the force fields. If Sheth is able to bait some force fields, he might be able to do it. And that's exactly what he's trying to do, going in with a couple, but Socke too smart for that.
Yeah, in the background now, just droning up heavily, taking a third base before the 7:30 mark here to kind of equalize their economy. Doesn't want to stay on base too long unless he's thinking for some form of attack. Poking in, he's going to try and get a probe kill if he can. Bait force fields out as mentioned, and now we see +1 being upgraded from the forge inside the main, and a 4th and 5th gateway being added on. Very aggressive. Oh, not so good force fields, only getting about 4, not even 4, about 2 Zerglings for 2 force fields. Bad trade, but as I was saying, 5 gateways up in total now. There's definitely going to be a push from here.
Yeah, it was a really nice play there by Sheth, I've got to say, in terms of that, and apparently he was having some frame rate problems, but it doesn't seem to affect his micro in any way. And Socke is all about efficiency, and he's loath to waste anything, including sentry energy. So he had to do it at that point. Sheth forced him to do it, but the force fields were a little bit off, and he didn't capture too many Zerglings. That's going to be a free Overlord right there. It did get some information. It will have seen the Forge chrono boosting. It will have seen those 2 gateways, but it didn't see anything else.
I mean, that's pretty good information because he knows it's not a Twilight Council. He knows that wasn't a robotics facility, and that's usually the timing of when that would finish. That's why he went in there. He saw the gateway instead. So he knows that a lot of gateway units are going to be coming out, and already more force fields being used to bait off Zerglings and kill them. And look at the drone count now, 54 drones, looking pretty healthy for 2 bases. We'll get out a nice couple of rounds of units now to deflect any pressure, which is inevitably coming now as Sheth will shortly scout it with the Xel'Naga Tower coverage. And he has the option to go back to drones a little bit, but he's just going to continue building links because he's seen it now.
Yep, it is on its way, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got 17 Zerglings, we've got a couple of Roaches on the way, plus the +1 melee attack upgrade, which will not be complete by the time this hits, unless Socke takes an inordinate amount of time to wander over there. In the meantime, there's an opportunity for Sheth, but this is going to be an interesting trade. Is he going to force his opponent back? There is a photon cannon coming up inside this base right here. I don't know if he's going to be able to shut that down, but he may even be able to work his way through that pylon, possibly make his way into the main. In the meantime, there's the attack right here, as the sentries, that's a lot of sentries from Socke right here, 8 in total, will deny that 3rd base. It is down, and Sheth not in a great position, not able to do much with those Zerglings, unfortunately. He wanted to try and get some harassment in, but Socke's base is incredibly tightly placed right now, very defensive.
And Sheth has to do something here to kind of punish Socke for coming out so far. He's trying to go in now, but as you said, so many force fields. Look at that, 2 Roaches
extremely well done force fields right there. Very, very good indeed. And Socke's going to clean this up quite nicely. Sheth did manage to hit the reinforcements really hard as they warped in and took the shields down, even killed one, I believe, as it was going. But he didn't come off too great in that engagement whatsoever. That said, Sheth is equalizing the army count with 11 Roaches in production. So Socke is unable to go in at this point. Particularly, to be fair, I say he's drained a lot of force field energy. He has 8 sentries. He has a huge amount to begin with. So even then, it's risky to go in with those Roaches.
And his plan there was just to kill the hatchery and back off, and he took an engagement there because he realized he could, and he has pulled off a little bit now. It looks like he's going to try and get a 3rd up very, very shortly, but is now chrono boosting +2 attack, very close to finishing, and added on blink now, and he's going to poke around now, and because he knows that Sheth should be building nothing but drones. Unfortunately for Socke, he's building nothing but units, so he has to be a little bit careful here.
Yes, he does. There's no real doubt about that one. And Sheth retaking the Xel'Naga Watchtower, nailing down that probe as he should. Socke can easily take that back, however. Infestation Pit is on its way. We've got the... I don't even know. Roach Speed. We're not even going to try calling it that anymore. It's a horrible name. I don't know why Blizzard made it that, but hey. Infestation Pit on the way up, which could prove to be very problematic right here for Socke. I'd like to point out that the Observer has only just started. If his Observer coverage is bad, there's all sorts of possibilities for really nasty infester harassment, particularly on this 3rd base up to the top right here. Sheth going in with a relatively large force of Zerglings. He may be able to harass here. It does have the +1 upgrade for the melee, so he might be able to take some freebies. That wall is not up right now. However, there are plenty of sentries moving in, and Socke easily able to move to intercept that particular maneuver.
Yeah, and the wall is up now. Cannons are going to be placed behind it to secure that base, and now Socke just has to keep his units on his natural now if he wants to play defensive. But +2 is finished now. Blink is finished now. I'm sure this is going to trigger Socke to move out to punish this. He could even force field all these lings
Oh,
in.
that would be really unfortunate. He needs to leave now. Thankfully, sentries are slightly slower than stalkers, and he's going to get out of there, but not without taking some fairly horrendous losses in the process. He now has to position his roaches and prepare for an attack on the third once again. Although it seems like Socke has decided he doesn't want to do that.
No, he doesn't. He's just going to pull back now. He's got +3 upgrading, and the Twilight Templar Archive's going down as well. I mean, he's got a great advantage in the fact that, you know, he killed that third base. He doesn't really need to push it too hard because he knows that Chef has a lot of units out. I mean, he's got observers around the map now. He's seen what techs he's going for. He's seen the double evolution chamber. He hasn't quite spotted out the infestation pit, which has finished with the infestor upgrade for the energy now. And infestors not quite been added to the mix yet, but I'm sure they will be shortly.
Yep, added on right now and spotted by the observer, so he's aware, which is no doubt going to force some feedback play. The Templar Archives was already on its way anyway. Needless to say, he will have been expecting infestors at this stage. Good upgrades coming in for Socke as well, which again is to be expected. Socke big on the upgrades, particularly on attack, not so much on armor. A very sensible play. He's working on ground weapon level 3. It will probably be ready, although if Sheth goes in now, he can go in before that upgrade completes. The question is, does he have an army large enough? It's going to be very, very close, and I'm very concerned about those sentries as well.
No, those sentries are going to just absolutely demolish this army. They'll cut them up very, very easily, and Chef will be left basically with his pants down, which, because he's single, that's probably a good idea. But in this case, he's playing against Socke. This is not a good idea. Infestors are being added on now, as mentioned, and he is upgrading Vengeful Sacks, but everything's just a little bit slow for Chef because he lost that third base. You know, he's only just now taken his fourth base at 60 minutes, and this third of Socke has been up for an awful long time.
Yes, it has. The worker count is actually in favor of Sheth, but not as far in favor of Sheth as you would have expected at this stage, no doubt. We've got a plethora of upgrades coming in right here. Ventral Sacks, centrifugal hooks, ground carapace level 1. We've got melee attack level 2, and pneumaticized carapace. So there you go. That's, you know, he just wants to compete with Socke and upgrade, so he decides to build, well, 5. Seems reasonable. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not complaining. Psystorm is on its way up right here for Socke. He's not going to just be using those for feedback. Always nice to have the option of being able to Psystorm as opposed to just using feedback or morphing into Archons. And Chef once again taking good map control. And look at that. Socke is actually going to take the gold base, which is a little bit risky.
I mean, look at Chef's army. It's really not that big, actually. So Socke has complete control. He can go attack now and get the gold base while he's attacking. He's got an observer to kill creep 2.
He's going to have to be quick. There's 28 Banelings morphing in, an additional 36 Zerglings. If he goes in now, he could do damage. He's actually waiting, which could be a really big mistake. Those Banelings are now complete by the looks of it, popping up. And he's got good coverage with these infestors as well. That's a nice big clump that he could land some really great fungals on. There's the force fields blocking off all the Banelings. Very, very nicely doing there. A Psystorm there, not that effective. He pops an infestor with a feedback. And here come the Baneling bombs. Oh, big storms coming in the middle right there. There's a lot of Banelings cleaned up. He is out of there. He nails down a small group with a fungal growth. The roaches come in to clean this up. But that Stalker count is really high. And there's a lot of firepower available. He's got the speed. In come the Banelings smashing through the front line. But the Stalkers absorb the majority of that, and Sheth is pretty much out of Banelings now. Here comes the counter-attack right here by Socke, pouncing to get as many Overlord kills as he can.
And that's going to supply block Chef at 170, though he has got a lead at 140, supply for Socke, 170 for Chef, but +3, Blink Stalkers are pretty good.
Yep, there is the fungal growth, but unfortunately it wasn't able to nail down too much. There's a second fungal right there. Some damage being done, a flanking force of roaches speeding in from the side, and Chef with good defense, now routing his opponent. The question is, will he be able to do it with those reinforcements warping in right here? He doesn't think so, and I can hardly blame him. Roaches taking a pounding right here from a vicious counter-strike.
And losing all those overlords hurt Chef a lot. He had to build 8 overlords at once. The money doesn't matter, but he just couldn't build units. 8 or 10 more Banelings are being morphed. A lot of Zerglings as well. 140 supply now for Chef, trying to get more infestors out, but the gold base is up. Cannons are going down now as well, so we're going to be seeing a transfer very, very shortly from the main base coming down to this gold. And once that gold is up, the waves and waves of Protoss units will continue. And looking at the production tab, he has slowed down on upgrades. He doesn't continue with the +2 armor at all, which is surprising, but he's warping in a lot more units to keep the pressure on Chef.
Yeah, he wants to do that, and he's going to stay on 3 bases for the time being. Pretty much every other expansion has been denied by the placement of creep for the time being. That would at least delay it. Chef is sitting on 4 bases quite comfortably. He's not mining much. He's only taking gas from the 4th base. And in comes yet another wave. We've got an Immortal in the mix this time with +3 upgrade. That's going to tear through Roaches quite nicely. In the meantime, Banelings continuing to be morphed in right here for Sheth. Another 10 Roaches being added to the mix. And in the meantime, what on earth is that? That would be a single Roach flying across, which is going to be shot to pieces by those cannons. So never mind. Oh, that was actually a scouting. He's going in with more Banelings coming in right here, dropping them into the mineral line, and it's good. It's pretty good indeed. He gets a reasonable clear out, and Socke reacting quite rapidly, but he does lose quite a few probes.
So cost efficient to drop Banelings, especially once you have the upgrades. You have +2 melee attack. You one-shot Banelings, and it's very, very efficient to do so. And a big wave of overlords now getting ready. They have a lot of Banelings inside here. And Chef's army getting up to 200 supply now. Upgrades are not that good though. Only 1-1 for the Roaches and 2-1 for the Lings and Banelings. And now once again, a Colossus has been added on. Thermalance is very, very close to finishing now as well.
He's actually gone for shield upgrade, which indicates to me that Archons are a real possibility in the not too distant future. He's also grabbing that extended thermal lance at big storms, and here comes the engagement. The Roaches just ate a lot of that. They really, really did. He didn't lose that many, but I don't think he's got Burrow, does he? No, he does not. So he has no way to rapidly regenerate them. If Socke can actually seize the momentum here, he can do big damage, but I think he's scared of that cloud of Banelings.
No, he's the cloud of Banelings, and more importantly, these Infestors with a lot of energy underneath. As soon as he grabs hold of all these units, Blink becomes nullified. You can't move anywhere, and the Banelings just do so much damage. And
I like the Freudian slip right there.
Awesome.
The Banelings goo so much damage.
I know.
Delicious electric Baneling goo. In it comes. Socke going with another wave right here. Army supply count is pretty much equal. It's 120 to 123. He's going for it. Chef did not get a lot of regeneration. He stayed on the creep. It didn't help him all that much. Looking for the Infestors. Good feedback right there by Socke. Infestors wiped out. Here come the Banelings. The problem is that he's got no way to hold them.
And unfortunately for Chef there, his unit control wasn't exactly precise. He didn't move the overlords out in time. The Banelings are unloading now, and they're doing nothing. And now, once again, Socke does have the upper hand, but 42 Lings in production and 4 more Infestors on the way.
Chef does have the economic advantage. I mean, he's got 4 bases. Unfortunately, his opponent has 79 probes versus 69 drones for Chef. Chef is taking a 5th base right here, and yes, Socke has been on the gold for a while, which I suppose does help a lot. So in reality, no, he hasn't had the economic advantage. I take that back. I'm talking out of my arse.
But 3 Colossus now. With +3 attack, are going to go to town on this. Archons are in the mix as well, and Chef trying to build another army. He doesn't quite have the count yet. 184 supply versus, look at that. That spine crawler makes me laugh because he's picked up a drone and planted it there.
Oh, that's adorable. Unfortunately, it didn't do a huge amount, I have to say, but still, it's kind of cute. Well, right now, Socke has added some Archons to the mix. We're looking for Broodlord tech coming out, as well as the Adrenal Glands upgrade. Adrenal Glands will not be complete here. That's not going to help one little bit. I don't believe there's an observer with that, so he's not going to spot the Roaches. It doesn't matter, though. He just ate big storms right there. The timing on the Banelings was pretty good. Did he get a good hold? Because the Baneling bombs are coming down right now on this large force of Stalkers. He just did huge damage. The problem is that he doesn't have anything left after that.
Very nice play by Socke there. He actually sniped the Infestors there. Sniping the Infestors off. No fungal growths at all in that remaining fight.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And made it very, very easy for a clean-up.